It's Grace chatting here, and this is step 5 of communicating for couples. I am Grace Chatting, founder of Relationship Academy, and in this series, I've been bringing to you various aspects of what makes for good, clear communication with couples. So in the first video, we looked at the usefulness of setting an intention for the communication. What's your intention? Then we looked at the importance of listening and how actually there are different aspects to listening. The third one was about listening to understand, not to thinking about what you're going to say back. And then in the last video, I read a poem, Listen to What I'm Not Saying, and it illustrates the importance of really tuning into your partner or whoever it is you're in the relationship with, really tuning in to hear what they're not saying. You probably know that I'm in the UK, and in the UK, the custom is when people meet, one will say, oh, hello, how are you? And usually the other one says, oh, I'm fine. And you? And they say, oh, yeah, I'm fine. And everybody's telling everybody how fine they are. And often they're not fine. They're not feeling happy or, okay at all. But people have the mask that they wear. So it's important, even with couples, and especially when something is really, really important, how often people cover over what they really want to say, and how often they don't actually know what they want to say, and they don't always understand why they're feeling, how they're feeling. So in this video, I want to talk about a little exercise. Well, it's a little technique, really. It's called the listen and check exercise. And I know it may sound a bit contrived, but it really does make a difference. If you find yourself and your partner are in some kind of conflict, or you keep bouncing around having misunderstandings, this is a good and useful thing to do. So you decide that you're going to sit down and you're going to spend an hour. It's useful to not spend much more than that, but actually if it's working, go to an hour and a half, but I wouldn't spend any longer than that. So you would give 5 minutes each to each of you and work through it in 5-minute sections. And here's what you would do. You would decide who's going to go first. So whichever one of you is going to go first, that one has 5 minutes. And it's good to have a clock and have a timer and, actually call time at 5 minutes. So the first one has 5 minutes to say everything that they want to say. And the listener needs to not interrupt and not say yes, but, or not debate, discuss, or argue. So in that 5 minutes, the first one can talk for as long as they need to, but it's useful for them to stop after they've said a bit of what they want to say. And then the listener will feed back, this is what I heard you say. So they'll feed that back and follow that up with, is that right? And the one who's the speaker will say, yes, that's right, but I meant this or that. So they'll clarify. And then the listener will feed that back and say, is that right? And if that's right, fine. And say, and is there anything else? And the speaker will say if there's something else. And then they may be finished then before the 5 minutes, but if, they go up to 5 minutes. Then you switch over, and now it's the listener's turn to speak. And the listener will say what they want to say. Now, it's good for the listener to speak, or whoever is being speaker, to speak about themselves, what they think, what they feel, how it is for them, you know, just explaining things from their point of view, not saying, well, you this or you that. No accusations, no commenting on their opinion about the other person. You can say, oh, well, when you said such and such, I thought. So you talk about yourself and what you want to communicate. And then the listener, once again, repeats that back and says, what I heard you saying was X, Y, and Z. Is that right? And as the speaker, you say, yes, that was right, or no, it was this and this and this. And the listener, once again, will say, and is there anything else? And you carry on speaking. And so every 5 minutes, you switch over. You don't discuss, you don't debate, you don't argue, you just keep going. And the idea is to listen and speak with a view to understanding each other. So that is a really useful exercise. It's known as the listening check exercise. And it's really useful for those times when you just seem to go round in circles and nobody's getting anywhere. The important thing is to not get into being defensive or wanting to justify or explain things. You need to be quiet and listen. And it's learning how to be a good listener and checking with your partner when you feedback, did I get that right? So this is a skill. And to have a good relationship going forward, you need to develop skills, because the relating skills are what make for good relationships. And pretty well most people who get divorced, well, it's not just people who get divorced. My strapline is lessons they didn't teach at school. Nobody teaches us how to do this, and it is something that we learn to do, and it is worth taking the time and patience to practice doing this in that kind of to and fro, rather than whoever, has the strongest opinions dominates the discussion. It's taking turns, passing a balloon, taking turns, listening and checking. And, I'd really love to know how you get on with that. So I'll catch you in part 6. Bye for now.